We're joined by Congressman Michael Burgess of Texas. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Diane. Always good to be with you.
Thank you. Tell me why you and other Republicans introduced a bill to repeal the new standards for light bulbs.
Take you back a little bit farther to the year 2007, when I was kind of the lone voice on the subcommittee and the full committee when this bill was debated, because I did not think this was a good idea, and I thought this was Congress taking its power in a direction where it was never intended to go. Look, I work in a federal building. I get the fact that they get to tell me what kind of light under which I function all day, but they do not get the ability to tell me what wavelength of light I use when I read my paper at night. When you get to a certain age, your ability to discriminate lines becomes enhanced by the wavelength of the incandescent light. And here's the really ugly truth, no pun intended. Those of us of a certain age don't look as good under the wavelength of fluorescent light, so we like to burn incandescent lights in our home so we look just a little bit better.
But surely you're not just...
I would also emphasize, it is my constitutional right to be able to do that. The federal government does not have the power to come into my home and tell me what wavelength of light to use.
Isn't there some concern about American jobs going overseas if, in fact, this is carried out?
Well, in fact, that's what got this kicked into gear again. Again, I fought this battle in 2007 when the bill was being debated in committee and on the House floor. It sort of lay dormant for a while, and then it was the closure of the plant in Virginia that sent 200 jobs away, and that manufacturing went overseas to China. It got some congressional interest again. So yeah, there's two sides to this. One is just the very constitutional question: do we even have the right to do this? We're supposed to deliver the mail and defend the borders, not organize what kind of light to use. But the other is, what about the job-killing nature of this energy bill that was passed in 2007 and signed by President Bush? I might add, this is not something that came under the Obama administration. It was the previous administration.
So what about the contents of the lights themselves?
Well, the Mercury has been a concern for me, and that's one of the things I articulated in our debates in subcommittee and full committee several years ago. And in fact, I had an amendment at the time, and I have a bill out now that says, if you're in a place where there's a vulnerable population that is difficult to move, I think nursing home, think hospital nursery, then it is okay not to use compact fluorescent bulbs in this environment, because if a bulb shatters, mercury is dispersed into the environment, and the first thing they tell you to do is to leave the room and close the door for 15 minutes and allow that aerosol dispersion to settle down. Well, if you're in a hospital nursery or if you're in a nursing home patient's room, it may be difficult to get that person out the door within that 15-minute time frame, let alone before any of the mercury has contaminated the surroundings. And the other thing, of course, is these bulbs last a long time. I get that. But at some point, the landfills are going to begin to receive these bulbs in large numbers. What are our plans for dealing with these bulbs when they reach the end of their useful lifespan? And none of that was addressed in the legislation in that Energy Security Act of 2007.
Dr. Burgess, haven't there even been some health conditions raised by those who feel that these are the wrong lighting systems?
There have been. I will say those reports tend to be more anecdotal, but to me the real issues are, number one, did we have the authority to do this in the first place? I don't think so. And the other is, are there dangers that occur, identifiable dangers, not even going into the anecdotal reports, but EPA says if you break one of these things, you've got to do certain things very quickly. And if you're in a place where it would be difficult to perform those functions, or if the population affected would be difficult to move out of the area, that's a concern. And you ought not to have to be required to use compact fluorescent lighting in those venues. Now, is the technology going to change over the next couple of years? I have no doubt that it will. Will there perhaps be better, cheaper, safer lights available? I have no doubt that there will. But again, the fundamental question is, did we have the authority to do what we did in the first place? May have been done for the best of intentions. We want to reduce the dependence on foreign oil. I get that, but at the same time, did the federal government have the ability to make this call? And I don't think they did.
How many of your colleagues do you have with you?
On the bill that I have that is narrowly drawn on nursing home and nurseries, just a handful. But on the bulb act that was introduced by Mr. Barton, I think there's probably in the range of 6 co-sponsors.
Congressman Michael Burgess of Texas, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.